one. Well, where shall we begin? Dollar Bill, welcome to Aaron's Opinion. You are officially the first South African to ever join me here at Aaron's Opinion. I am truly, truly inspired and truly excited to learn from you and learn with you and to help you, of course. Yeah, I've had guests from other countries all over the continent of Africa, but you are the first from South Africa. So someone who has never seen any of your content creation or the work that you've been doing in the community, who is Dollar Bill? Let's just start from the top and let the conversation unfold. Who's Dollar Bill?
All right. First of all, I just want to appreciate the honor and pleasure to actually be part of the podcast, to be part of Aaron's opinion. This is so amazing for me,
You
and
are always welcome here. Always welcome.
I'm really really amazed, and it's even more special that I'm actually the first one from South Africa. But anyways, who is Dollar Bill? So Dollar Bill is basically Sierra Debe from it's actually Sierra Debe, but it's written with an R, so it could be read Sierra Debe. So that's Dollar Bill from South Africa, born in KZN, that's Durban. Yeah, and grew up basically, yeah. It's a South African guy from South Africa, who's currently living with visual impairment or blindness. Yeah, that's who
Okay.
Dollar Bill. Yeah.
All right. All right. And so I was born blind. I was born with glaucoma. As I told you over WhatsApp, I'm 30 years old, but maybe we have new viewers, so it's always never hurts to repeat it a little bit. So how did you
Yeah.
become blind?
Basically, what happened? I actually suffered a chemical burn. That was during my high school years, and prior to that, I was playing rugby. I was a rugby player for from primary, and then as time went by, you know, sports can have some weird pranks, and unfortunately, this prank that I think it was supposed to be a prank or whatever it was, but it left me without sight. So basically, what happened is uh, the school that we were in a same tournament with, we had a home game and away game, but this time we started with an away game, which was at that particular school stadium, and they were going to also come and play at our stadium. Uh, because of the fact that I was the captain at the time of my squad. What they actually did is in our some sort of like locker rooms or change rooms where we change, they put some sort of sodium chemical in the basin, and they could even know which basin I was going to use because at the time there's certain ways you do things, and my bag was directly under the basin. That means I'm going to be using that particular stuff. So they put the chemical there, and it was after the match we had with them. So they just assumed it was gonna injure me, maybe and take me out of the tournament, and that'll be it. And then if you in a month or weeks, I'll be okay. And little do they know that it was more like a permanent injury. So after the game, the match, I really felt strange. We won the game, but I felt really strange, very tired. Uh, Quite a lot. Just I was very confused. And everything is, I was not okay. And the strangest thing I can tell you, it might be a little bit hard for you to believe, like, but my hair was just acting up. Yeah. So I just told the guys, everybody was happy, and they're like cheering me because I scored most of the tries on the day. And but I was just not okay. I said, guys, as they were still in the field, I was like, okay, let me just go refresh myself and then get home. So as soon as I got in there, I saw these boys following me, the same boys from the other school. But at the time, I just thought I didn't, because I just wanted to get home, so I didn't care what there are people following me. And I got in there. I opened the tap, and when I opened the tap, I saw there was something in the basin. I just didn't care what it was. Just wanted to drink water, wash my face, and then change and leave. So I started seeing like small bubbles coming on in whatever coming out of whatever was in the basin. But before I could even process like what's going on, what's this thing, and what's the bubbles? It just exploded, and the explosion was so severe it took me off my feet. I was bending on the basing, oh maybe a sink, and then the thing exploded. I fell. I just what I remember. I was just on my back, and then this is me trying to figure out what's going on, and my ears were ringing. I'm trying to understand. I cannot see, and I'm trying to scratch my eyes, and my eyes were feeling weird. And there's this burn like smell of like wires or whatever. Something is seriously burning. And then I then realized, okay, I'm on the floor. Honestly, I tried screaming, but now because now my mind couldn't process everything at once. What's going on? 1 second I could see, now I can't, and there's something blew up. What was that? And what's going on? And then I got myself up, and I tried to remember and trace my steps as to how I entered there, because I felt like, you know what, I'm going to die, because I had very very severe headache, a very very severe headache. My ears were ringing. I couldn't hear in one ear at the time, and that's when I tried retracing my steps. And as I walked out, uh I could imagine that, because I then bumped into someone, and I held their arm, and I asked that they take me to my coach. But I can imagine that it was the very same people who were following me, which later on we found out it was the same people who put the chemical there, who put that sodium like acid thing there. Uh, yeah, so I asked them to take me to my coach, and then they did. It was just a sad afternoon, and then the coach took me to the hospital. Luckily, the hospital that the coach took me to, it's the same hospital which my mom worked as a matron at. So when I got there, they immediately called her, and everybody was there trying to calm me down, trying to help me, and they it's a local hospital, so, and it was a local hospital. So my mom says no, let's transfer him to a private hospital. So immediately I was taken with a helicopter, because I'm told that I collapsed because of pain. And I was unconscious. What I do remember, what happened after, it's I was told that I underwent in what you call this, a surgery at Walkland Mediclinic. Um, Walkland Mediclinic, immediately when I got there, they performed an emergency surgery trying to stop the chemical from going to the brain. So yeah, they were successful in that, but then uh, the eye department, or the sight department, was seriously wounded. Yeah, so basically that's how I started being blind. After that, it was just surgery after surgery, doctors after different doctors and hospitals, going from that hospital to that. Any treatment that is suggested, we went for it. The long and short of the story, um, I've been around, and I've been around with chasing after sight. Then I eventually enrolled, because life and academics and time was moving. So I was enrolled in a school for blind people. Um, it's called a special school in South Africa. So I was enrolled in what South Africa is called. In South Africa they refer them to a special school that is called Arthur Blackstone in Pietermaritzburg. Yeah, so I went there. And as while I was still there, I was still undergoing surgeries, going to different hospitals and flying abroad, coming back. And I remember just regaining a bit of sight. It was not 100%, but it was sight nonetheless. And it was an invention at the time, because my doctor said, what I want to do to you, no one in Africa has been done. There's actually 3 people who has done it, and there's 3 doctors who can do it. So I'm going to go and watch them as they perform it, and see if I cannot do it on you. And then he went. A couple of months later, he contacts me. He says, "Okay, I'm ready if you are." And then he tried it. It was at the time called the keratoplasties, where they use some artificial something as well together with something. I think it was an artificial cornea or something, and whatever they put in there, which form then creates a window for light to go in. So as much light as you can get in, it's as much light as you can get out. So it is a keratoplasties, and that was perhaps my 24th or 24th surgery. So I got a bit of sight, and with a boost of eyeglasses just to boost it, or contact lens, it was reasonable. I was told that I could function also in a mainstream community, so I left the Blackstone. I then joined Michael House. When I went to Michael House, then I started developing also my music side, because there was a lot of music activities there. So yeah, I got into a little bit of musical instruments, and from there, I went to study at London School of Economics, to go and do some business studies. When I got there, it was not even a complete year. Well, whilst I was there, then the keratoplasties rejected. When it rejected, I had to come back home, and I was very, very depressed. And it was during the time when my parents now wanted to know, so what do we do now? What would you have us to do now? Should we go back to doctors? I'm like, I'm tired of doctors. I'm really tired, because when I came back, I had to go back to do another surgery just to clean up some of the stuff that was inside. Yeah. And I said, no, I can do one last one. And if I don't want a series of surgeries, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I went to my 26th operation at Eye Institute in Pretoria. So they tried, and it didn't work out. So I told my family that, okay, maybe we can start looking at gadgets and stuff, which will then make my life as a person living with blindness a bit accessible. So we then did a little research. We found that there's an organization called South African National Council for the Blind. So when we got the South African National Council for the Blind, we got there. We found out we were there actually to their resource center. We were there to check out some of the gadgets and items which were being sold there. And then we discovered there's a college, and I also discovered there were business studies there, and I was very, very interested in that. Like, hey, and they asked me, "Don't you want to enroll?" I was like, "Yeah, I'd like to." And yeah, and I enrolled there. And I got to meet a whole lot of blind people who were very independent. I did my business studies. So while I was busy with business studies there, I also then registered for a stockbroker license. That it was in Trade for Africa organization, ACM Gold. So I did both the studies and up to my college and ACM Gold Trade for Africa. And once I was done with both studies, then I started exploring options in stock markets, looking at different things that I can do, and uh, and thanking God for the times that we live in, that there are softwares that we can use to just work out certain things. So it was very, very nice. Enjoyed all of that period, and I could see the returns. And this was 2015. Then 2016. Uh, what happened in 2016? Okay, the greatest thing happened in 2016. I actually bought my first car, and it is a Dodge, and I was very, very excited for that. And I really felt more alive than I was, even when I could see. So everything was just coming into play. 2017, then I put together, registered a system, an investment system. Uh, yeah, and then it started working out. I actually started 2016, late 2016. So 2017, then I went back because I've always had this thing of wanting to help people out and seeing what we can do and grow together. So I went back home to some of my homeboys whom we used to play rugby with and stuff. Some of them were unemployed at the time, and they were done studying and stuff. I'm like, hey, come stay with me. Come, I'll show you what I'm busy with, and you can see how we can put what we know, and we can, work this thing up. And yeah, so I got a couple of boys, say about six of them. They came and stayed with me. I ended up having another apartment to let them stay in the other apartment that I owned. Um, and then from there, that carried out. So I did a lot of traveling. So I also wanted to to invest in life stocks. So while I was still busy exploring that, trying to find land and doing a lot of things as well, considering the fact that at that time I was even young, I forgot to actually even mention my age when I was speaking about myself. So yeah, this year I'm 28. So at the time when all this was happening, I was about 23, 22, 23, 24. Uh, yeah, so life was just flowing for me. I just enjoyed all of that. So experimenting with quite a lot of things, drinking as well was amongst the things that I just enjoyed doing, going out, hanging out with friends, and all of that. And because of I believe I was slightly younger than how I am now. I was a bit careless with a lot of things, and which led to some of the very people that I tried helping and pulling them out started sabotaging me. I didn't see it until it was very late. But during the time where I was not aware and stuff, I was busy as trying to get into stock, what you call this, livestock and all that. I then started to sponsor this other girl who who this other lady actually who was putting together a girls club. She had a girls club, but it didn't have enough funding, and I knew it didn't have funding at all. So I knew that it would be hard for her to get funding, and she has real programs and development program that is for young girls. So I was like, okay, I'll support you. I sponsored that, and I also sponsored there's a high school back home. It's a public school. I sponsored their netball team because they qualified to go to contest at another league, but they just didn't have the finances. Not everybody could pay for transportation to get there, even accommodation. So I helped fund that, put together some money to get everybody to get there and for them to compete, and which then inspired me to actually start a netball team, a netball league, sorry, a league like a tournament, so to say, sorry, a tournament. And then I put some money there, so I felt like it kept these teenage girls busy, and they have something to look forward to and work towards. So I did all of that, and There was this also other person who had an after school program for young kids. I also sponsored her with some material and stuff that will help her do her job efficiently. And all this was happening during yeah, 2016, 2017, 2018. So late 2018, I started seeing my finances that, you know what, no, uh, everything which is coming in, it's immediately coming out, and without even my authorization. So I started paying attention more, and I realized that okay, my very team is the same one who were doing such sabotage. And I inquired with them or communicated with them. Everyone pointed everyone, so you could never know. So the best thing I could do, I had to pay everybody out and then just close everything. Told myself I'm gonna start from scratch. It was a very hard and painful process for me to go through, beginning of 2019. So 2019 was called to participate in YALI. YALI, it's Young African Leaders Initiative, which was started by Barack Obama in Africa. I was there on cohort 17, 2019. So we underwent that course, and as the only person living with visual impairment amongst all the sighted people there, it was quite an experience. And um, yeah, it was quite an encounter. I met a lot of amazing people. We developed relationships and bonds and connections that even some of them we still work with together all around Africa. Uh, and then afterwards, okay, I think I was also recognized as a public speaker during that period, and I was invited to speak in different places after I came out of like YALI. Um, I was invited to do. There was a launch of Grace Outreach Ministry South Africa. I was there to speak. I spoke on AIDS Day as well, uh, and I also spoke at Faith and Power. That was 2019. So I did a lot of public speaking. I was invited to motivate in blind essay. So quite a number of places that I was actually called to do, and also on different types of radio stations. I was actually invited to come and just speak to youth and also in faith gatherings. And this all happened in 2019. And this is something I'm forgetting. All right, then 2020. Then 2020, I was called to be part of um, Men Moving Mountain. Beginning of 2020, I was called to be part of the directorship of Men Moving Mountain, focusing mainly on the inclusive education sector of it. And that was 2020, uh, which my Man Moving Mountain has just achieved quite a lot during its time with me being there. And during the course of the year, I was also elected to be now the chairperson of OVM, which is One Vision Media, which focuses on the talents and gifts of persons living with visual impairment, from the music and art, holistic development, and other disciplines and other things. Yeah, I was involved also financial education. Yeah, we're in OVM, we have aesthetic music. We also have friends with aesthetic music. Obviously, it's self-explanatory. It's about music, and then we also have friends with better benefits, which is a more of a business and financial group where it teaches and empowers people in leadership, how to start a business and how to manage your finances and all that, using tried and tested methodologies and networking and opportunities which are there. And yeah, there's quite a lot. And then after that, we also have Zeitgeist. Zeitgeist is another platform that focuses on the media side of things, or the publication side of things. So where we come as visual impairment, speaking about what's going on and from where we are. Yeah, so it's about mostly media and publications and getting news. That's what we focus on Zeitgeist. And then we also have Kingship. With Kingship, it's two platforms that we have there, uh, which the first one is Woman to Woman, which it's a platform for only women. It caters for women. All the programming, it's specifically for women. And then we also have Mischievous Man. Although the title is it's a bit scratchy, but yeah, yeah, it then focuses on things pertaining to men, young men, middle-aged men, and older men, where we exchange information, we teach each other, we support each other. These things serves as strong support group which within the disability sector. And from Kingship, we also have Nirvana, which Nirvana is or could be a fifth platform, which focuses on the holistic development, like the spirit, mind, and body. Content which is being served, it's of spiritual nature, uh, food for thought, and stuff which you can do to empower yourself physically. Yeah, and then we also have the Zollywood, which I established this past December. Zollyhood is the group which focuses on the advocating. Actually, the purpose for Zollyhood is to advocate for persons living with disability in the entertainment, particularly film and television ministry or industry. So yeah, what we do there, we workshop, we train, we give persons living with special needs some experience, and so that we give them content to prove that it can be done, it will be done, it need to be done, and we do that. So we started a drama series. In fact, I started a drama series titled "I Never Saw It Coming." It has 12 episodes. We've completed our 12th episode about a couple of weeks ago, which you can also check out on YouTube. I Never Saw It Coming. It's an audio drama series, and I promise you'll enjoy it. There's nothing about it that it says it's created by persons with visual impairment, because you can actually see the development and the improving skills. This how skills are more developed and they're empowered and sharpened is with every episode. That's very motivational for me, even when I listen to it. So that's what we've been able to accomplish right now. We're working on our second drama series, although the season of the first drama series is still coming up. And what we've been able to accomplish with Zollyhood is these persons who are part of I Never Saw It Coming. They were able to produce that to other production house, like I can do this, and they're like, no, how can you do this, like listen to this. And the production house was very impressed and took them in to act in one of the roles. And that's what I love, because now this can actually, they can even put in their CVs, they can actually produce it anywhere, because this is concrete proof that it can be done, they can do it. So there's some of the couple of success stories about what we've been able to do. And the most magnificent part of all is that it's done from person different places around the world, not only in Africa. We have people in India, we got people in the States, we got people in Caribbean, someone in Nauru. We just have people all over. It's just an amazing experience. Yeah. So yeah, this is a long and short of activities that Sia Dalabel Radebe has been part of.
That was a perfect answer. I absolutely love your personality. I love your spirit, man. You know, I love guests that where I just ask one question and they just basically talk and educate my audience about their entire life, which is what you just did. Thanks for that clarification. Now we know who
Really
Dollar.
appreciate it.
Yeah. And I really appreciate you telling your whole story and giving all the details and talking for as long as you want. That's something that I love about podcasting, the ability that I have to help you to share your story with people who might need to hear that story. Like say
Absolutely.
Dollar Bill, like what if there's some other guy, I don't know, in the States or in Switzerland or South Korea, and that person just burnt their eyes or something like that. I know it
Yeah,
was hard for you to share the story, and I could tell that as you were
yeah,
walking through this, I can tell that you were a little nervous when you were talking to me at first. You had to get used to it. You were breathing a little heavy there, a little you were a little nervous and a little emotional as you were telling the story, and I appreciate it. But I think that I know it was hard for you to go back to that and to visit the locker room and
yeah,
visit the base. And I tremendously respect you for going back there mentally, because that could have, you never know, that could have just helped a lot of people, because unfortunately what happened to you has happened to a lot of people, even in the States,
yeah,
in very different ways, but a lot of people
yeah,
suffer chemical burns to their eyes. And I think what you said is very true, that sometimes in life, you just have to have the strength to accept things and just go about your business. And the fact is, and I am not a doctor, but I've had many surgeries to my eyes, and I do know that when the eye dollar bill, as we know, is an amazingly sensitive, ridiculously sensitive part of our body, and we're just
yeah,
discovering today how sensitive our eyes are to these surgeries. It's a tremendous trauma.
yeah,
So who knows? But you know what? The fact is, now you're blind, you love life, and you're successful, and that's really all that matters. And yeah, I certainly have been listening to I Never Saw It Coming, the first episode. I gave it a play. So to clarify, and of course to clarify for the listener and to clarify for myself, just to make sure I remember I remember where I've left off or what I've said or haven't said. So I
yeah,
heard about you through the others, Zollyhood group, and through
yeah,
Gavin and all of those
yeah,
wonderful people from Jamaica and the Caribbean, and
yeah,
they were on my podcast. And this is the art of content creation, is that you end up connecting the entire world, and it just
yeah,
fascinates me. I
yeah,
could tell you this off the air, but I would like to have the conversation with you, because some other people in the community tell me that I have a very interesting way of talking. I'm a great speaker. So,
yeah.
how do you see, or do you see anything that I could do for I Never Saw It Coming, or your productions, and in the Zollyhood? Because one of my secret dreams as a podcaster, YouTuber, teacher, I might secretly want to be an actor and to get into something like this. So, what's this role? And I'm mentioning it because someone said that there's a role for me. There's a secret role that I have to kind of squeeze it out of you, but there's a role where they need someone to be a reporter in one of the episodes. So what's going on with that?
Absolutely.
You're very amused by that, the way I kind
Yeah,
of.
I'm really,
I'll
really
just I'll
amused.
just let you I'll just let you tell about your life, and then I'll get an acting role out of this. Okay, so now back to me. So,
No, absolutely. I haven't spoken to you for long, but in the occasion that I've spoken to you, I've actually identified your ability of speaking and just not yeah, there's certain gifts which I name such things as a mouth gift, which is what I see that you do have.
Thank you.
Not only how you articulate, but how you even sound when you're giving a message, and it's equally important as the message itself, and the way you also put out the message. And I've actually seen the quality in that when you do it. So uh, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we can say there is more than enough room for you there. And we are in a dire need for a journalist in Zollyhood. It could be so amazing to actually have you as one of the It was so amazing.
I am so honored. It's so sweet of you. That's so touching, and
Yeah,
I'm always here to help. So for other people, who are
yeah.
listening all over the world, but they aren't, there are some people that are genuinely interested, but a lot of people have this fascination. So exactly how is this voice acting, especially with Zollyhood, how is it organized basically for the listeners who don't know a lot about it? Can you engineer for us how it all works from the A to Z?
Sure, that can sure.
Let's say that someone, so okay, so for example, how do you
Yeah.
distribute the lines, the scripts? How do people know what roles they
You
have?
know, we work according to your preference. And what is it? How do you prefer? Do you prefer a script being written to you, or do you prefer it being said to you? And some when it's said in a sense on a call, or do you prefer a voice note or an audio? And the same way, also when we are acting this out, uh, for those who are comfortable for us to have the to act it out on Skype, we do that. We record on Skype, and for those who prefer voice notes, we do that, because now with Skype, the beauty is that we can talk like me and you are talking right now. So we can talk at the same time, we can laugh at the same time and stuff. But with voice note is a different case scenario. You understand what I'm saying? We need to take turns. But now, like I said, these are the most interesting times to be alive. So there are softwares where we can put another audio on top of another audio and choosing which part should be on top of each part. And so we use different type of softwares and applications to be able to achieve that. So that's how we distribute script and stuff. I write the entire series, and then we break it down into episodes, and then we break it down into scenes, and then we distribute the scenes, and that's how we work it out.
That's really fascinating. So basically, you work as a team globally, just sitting down over a recording over Zoom or sending the voice notes back and forth
Yeah,
until you have it together. So, for
yeah.
instance,
Can,
some
can I shock you? Epi,
I've heard everything from every continent. So, try
yeah.
me. I'm sure you can try to shock me.
I'm just saying, episode 12 consisted of 1,494 voice notes.
Wow.
It was more than an hour long. That's putting to all those voice note had to be put together to form one big episode, because our average episode from episode 1 to 11, they go about 20-25 minutes long. But when we did episode 12, we wanted to really make it special, so we call it the big one. So the big one, it went a little over an hour, and of many voice notes, and we had to trim them to actually uh you know yeah. But you guys listen to it, I promise you, it's the best work we have done yet. And it was just amazing. You know, I don't take anything from the other ones, but it had something really special. We threw everything in there. It was very special.
It's so good. Yeah, I love sending in audio messages. I was talking to another content creator. This will shock you. This will shock you.
Yeah,
I was sending messages that were like 20 and 30 minutes long to this just to one
yeah,
other person. So I'm very comfortable sending
yeah,
audio content, back and forth,
yeah,
whether I record it here on my computer and then send it back
yeah,
to you, and then you guys pass it off to editing and it gets put in there. But that's a really great way of doing it, because
yeah.
you're giving this opportunity to so many other people who maybe aren't teachers or podcasters or content creators like me. People who you can give these opportunities to people who otherwise would never have the experience of acting in their life, and that's so good in their life, and that's so beneficial.
Definitely.
So that's really that's really important and a tremendous service to, well,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
society.
yeah, and it also goes for me. It also goes with a lot of critical thinking when you're coming to life, because when you think very deeply about life and think about yourself, I don't know how you feel, but personally, after all that I've been through, and it's not even about that. When I just thought about my life, I realized that um, whatever I'm at the receiving end of, it's because of what has been done in previous generations. And what my responsibility is to do, it's to do something that will benefit the about a generation or two to come. The quality of life and what will be happening at the time, if doors are going to be closed or open, it's also depending on the decisions I took during my lifetime. So once you start looking at life in that particular way, that our life is not necessarily our own. You understand? We living the life, or our reality is a dream of uh, our forefathers, and what you call our dreams is going to be lived out by our wildest imaginations, and wildest fantasies are going to be lived by the our grandchildren and those who come after us. And it's always, I don't want to live any stone unturned. If there's a problem, let's find a solution to it, so that it doesn't become a problem to the next one. I always make this example. There's many kids who were born maybe 2010 or some 2005, and they're using phones, they're using smartphones, and all of that. I'd say this, although I'm 28, but I was born at a period where something called a smartphone was not there. The color screen phone was not there. The touch screen phone was not there. A camera phone was not there. So seeing how life changed, and all of a sudden now it's like a normal thing, like a
Yeah.
smartphone. It's you get where I'm coming from. I remember growing up and talked about, whoa, here's another one. Phones were not even, didn't vibrate, because I remember my parents when they bought the first phone that could vibrate. It was Nokia 3310. I think it was sometime year 2000. Like I could, it was in my mind. I was trying to figure out what is in this phone that makes which wires click, and then the phone starts shaking like that. Do you understand? But there's people who never saw that, and there are people who lives and experience that as though it's just a normal thing.
Yeah.
So certain doors had to be kicked down, certain boundaries had to be broken. You understand, for the type of a reality we're seeing now. But as much as that is true, this is also true that there are certain doors which are closed, there's certain doors which are locked, and no, they're not going to open themselves. And if we don't open them, the next generation will also find them closed. So it falls to us to do something about them. Even our previous generations, they didn't really open all doors. We are also facing certain challenges that they could have confronted and they did not. You understand? Likewise, we also have stuff which we're not confronting, which will be also faced problematic to the coming generations. So once I had that little epiphany, then I just dedicated my life not to myself, but to everyone who comes after me, and seizing, every problem like it's a greatest opportunity ever, and trying to see uh, how do we then make it, because it's only impossible until you try. You see,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that has,
Yeah.
yeah, that has been my perspective on things, and
And
even on
it's
approach.
true. And it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're bringing up a lot of wisdom that our generations need to listen to this episode when it comes out, and you could not be more correct. Back to I never saw it coming and the characters. So if you're 100% right, I just want to cover all of the material. So,
Okay.
you're the author, you're the screenwriter of it. So
Yeah.
how do you come up with some of these names for these people? Just out of imagination? Are they exaggerations of people you've met in your life? Are they minimalizations of horrible people that you met in your life? Where do these people come from?
Uh, For me, I think also my personality helps quite a lot because I just like an entertainment. I like laughing. That will also depend on the character we are trying to develop. But then if we are coming up, it's a certain, like I can say I've actually titled or named 80% of the characters. About 20% have also given them the freedom to just title or name themselves. And uh, but for me, like depending on said a character, sometimes I just think of the craziest thing. I'm like, if we're talking about such and such a character, what could their name be? And and hello,
I am here.
yeah. So basically, you that then leads me to think, leads me to know which character by name. I thought we even think about the type of house he might live in. The door, how does the door sound? Because I remember we laughing about it. Like, I'm supposing he stays in a cave and his door is a cracky type of door. So there's many things, and it be
One LL5 QPTJT N Roos Q2 underscore 101 SAAAAAB FBD M RIB 2 LKU 2 HHC MDF NTE 2 NG equals has left the meeting.